Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Makakudash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Haru Will. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Dawada from the Men of Valor camp here in Greenville, South Carolina, coming back with another video in sincerity and in truth, and Lord willing to keep edifying. And I want to go into this article. All right, if you've been paying attention, which we all should be, standing upon our watch. All right, things are moving. Okay, things are moving over in other countries right now, and it's going to catch these Americans by surprise simply because Americans are just so occupied with everything else. Okay, and they don't think they can be touched. All right, that's why the Lord referred to this place as the virgin daughter of Babylon. Because it rarely has been invaded by enemy forces. All right, its economy up until this point has been strong. It's had hegemony. The military has been strong. So people here are just comfortable. All right, as long as they got their football and their different vices and other shit, they don't really care what's going on. However, all right, on a worldwide scale, they've already pushed to start setting up this digital ID. All right, they pushed it in, and they're pushing it in the UK, which is a westernized country, and it would make sense that they're now pushing it in the UK because where it speaks about in Revelations about the three unclean frogs. Okay, those represent, one of the unclean frogs represented the UK as being the financial hub. Then you have the Vatican as the religious hub. And then you have America or DC as the military hub. Okay, so it would make sense that they're pushing this digital ID, all right, which they're gonna end up having these crypto wallets and whatnot. You're gonna be identified. Your digital ID is gonna be pinned to what we're about to go into this article. Basically getting rid of the anonymity, if I'm saying that right. Basically, how people are able to say whatever, you can, especially on TikTok and stuff. You don't have to make a profile that says your name and shit. So you can go in there and, you can pretty much say whatever without any consequences, where they're trying to remove all of that. Now, whatever your views are, you're going to have to stand on it. You're going to be tied to an identity. And if your money and everything is tied to it and you're saying something that doesn't align with the global elites, they'll cut you out. All right, this is what this is leading to. All right, so you got that going on. You already have other countries that are freezing the accounts of their citizens moving toward this digital ID. All right, you have Thailand, and you have Vietnam, maybe. Don't fact check me on that, but might have to look that up. But nonetheless, all right, you have different countries. It might not be Vietnam though. I'll put it in the comment on the comment board. After the video, but nonetheless, there's other countries that have absolutely been moving toward this digital currency, this digital ID, and they're going to have stable coins and CBDCs pinned into that digital wallet. All right, it's going to be your identification, it's going to be your money, it's going to be a way for them to track you, and for you, it's going to force compliance. And we start with our elders and apostles of Great Millstone to the men on down have been telling you this. They've been saying it for well over a decade, damn near 2 decades, almost 2 decades, man. That the C-HIP is the MOTB, all right, and they're setting this thing up gradually, but now they're moving, man. All right, once they set up this digital thing, it's not going to be a long 4 or 5 year process to start actually getting people micro C-HIP, man. Okay, all it takes is a major event. Once they set up the infrastructure. They need a major event, a damn a major power outage, an EMP, a major internet outage or something like that, a cyber attack, and that'll get that ball rolling, man. All right, so let's get into this. Once again, this is from zeroheads.com. The digital gulag is being erected before your very eyes, and that's what caught my attention. All right, I'm gonna probably end up using that as the title for this video. All right, the digital gulag is being erected before your very eyes. At the WEF 2025, Spanish Prime Minister, and the WEF is the World Economic Forum, which formerly was led by Klaus Schwab. And one of his famous remarks was, "You will own nothing and be happy." All right, so this is what they're setting up. It says Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez presented a vision for the digital future that should send a chill down the spine of every free citizen. Framed as a solution to online harms, his proposal is in reality a blueprint of the panopticon of digital control, perfectly aligned with the globalist agenda of the World Economic Forum. And I won't play the video. It's going to go into what he said. What Sanchez said, he called for an end to online anonymity, demanding that every social media profile in Europe be linked to a state-issued European digital ID wallet. All right, interesting. So, getting on there, heckling, talking about the government and all that shit, that's about to come to an end. People are gonna know who you are when you when you speak, all right? And there's already brothers that are pushing in Europe, okay? There's men of the Lord right now, members of the elect that are in Europe that are standing boldly before the faces such as that have afflicted them and made no account of their labor. All right, that's gonna come to America. And how do we push our the words of Yahweh Bashim Shah? We push it via the internet, mainly via YouTube. All right, and we have different, like our aliases, so to speak, would be, the fact that our different channels, they don't have our government names on it or anything like that. They have, we're representing our heritage as being Israelites. All right, for instance, my YouTube handle is Yasharala 144 SC Ba. We have Hebrew names. We do have government names. Just like the Apostle Paul, he was a Hebrew Israelite, yes, but he was also a citizen of Rome. All right, and we're citizens of modern day Rome. All right, if you live in America, you were born here, you're an American citizen. All right, but we're still Hebrew Israelites first. But they're gonna make that. They're gonna officially make that anti. The word. They're gonna make it hate speech. All right, because us proclaiming our heritage, basically, even if we don't say, which we are plainly saying that they're not the people, but even in a subconscious way, they don't match the prophecies. All right, so with us saying that we are the people, we're saying that they're not, and they don't like that. And if they're in the power seat, they're going to censor that. You're not going to be able to speak out against, these people, man, these small hats. All right, so we see the famine of hearing the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushua coming, man. We see the persecution being set up. They've already, over here in America, Trump has already labeled Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, and they already have. And Pete Hegseth is actually sending 200 National Guards to Portland against Antifa. All right, so how much longer until they start coming after the men of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man? It won't be long. All right, because if you don't think this message is getting to them, best believe it is. It is, man. It says he compared the internet to public streets, arguing that just as one cannot drive without a license plate, one should not post online without a state-verified ID. Man, what Sanchez is really saying, he is declaring that the digital public square, the last true global space for free, unvetted discourse, must be brought under the direct supervision of the state. His rhetoric is a masterpiece in misdirection. Fighting misinformation is a code for establishing a verifiable identity for dissent. Under their system, any opinion deemed inconvenient by the authorities can be traced directly back to the citizen who voiced it. Exactly. Ending cyber harassment is the pretext for ending digital privacy. The principle that one can speak without fear of the public retribution, without the fear of state retribution, is being reclassified as impunity. Pseudo-anonymity is a Trojan horse. It offers the illusion of a nickname while ensuring that a government database holds the key to your real identity, accessible whenever public authorities deem your speech a crime. This is not a this word is tripping me up. Pseudo-anonymity. It is a state-mandated identity registration for speech. That's exactly what it is. All right, so how much longer until they, require us in America to do this same thing? And you have the men of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, they're gonna, which they already can figure out who we are, man. We're not hiding who we whatsoever, man. All right, we're not like Edomites. All right, where we doing a bunch of shit in secret and all that shit. No, man, if the damn government agencies were following us, they're gonna realize that we're pretty we're, hey, we chill, we watch sports, you know. We might go out to a bar here and there, right? But we ain't out here, conspiring against the government or nothing like that. We've been set up to prophesy against this place, but the Lord is going to do the heavy lifting. We're saying that the Lord is going to come and fuck you up. We're not about to do anything. The Lord said, "Wait ye upon me." We're not going to the gun range. We ain't out here having big ass rallies. All right, we go on the streets. We bring it out. We close up and we go about our day, man. Real under the radar. But soon they're gonna blur those lines, man, and you're gonna be pinned. Your whatever your rhetoric is gonna be pinned to this digital ID, okay? And if they're deeming what you're saying hate speech, which they definitely will deem what we're saying hate speech, they're gonna be able to contact your employers, brothers. Hey, we about to be walking away from all this shit, man. Our jobs, all right? Because right now we're moving in a Clark Kent Superman type of way. And I've done videos on that. But soon we're gonna have to stand on the fact that we're Supermen through the Spirit. All right, as Yasharallah, we are Supermen. We've been in exile. We've been, serving our punishment. But soon the Lord is going to lift up that standard. And it's going to start with them coming against us with that persecution for speaking the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh, because the Lord is going to protect us. We're not in the time where we just about to be getting snatched up and tortured, and Esau about to win. No, the Lord is gonna make intercession. Why wouldn't he? We're the only ones that are boldly proclaiming and heralding in the ushering of Yahweh Shah and his kingdom. Right? The heralding in of a righteous kingdom. So why wouldn't the Lord protect us? All right, but that don't mean this devil not about to try to come and ruin us. He know where my mama stay. He know where your mama stay. That's a reference from Friday. They about to calm down. But the Lord told us not to fear, man. We don't fear this devil. We don't fear, one that can kill the body but can't do anything after that. We fear Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, man. But nonetheless, they're moving. All right. This isn't conspiracy anymore. A couple years ago, this is like, people could wave this shit off, but no, it's here. All right, and most of you people are going to comply, man. All right, especially you women, because without social media, you people are, especially you women, you're not much to behold, man. Okay, without social media propping you up, you're not very interesting. You're not really adding anything to society other than being fucking whores and sluts. You just want to put it on the internet. Okay, so the Lord gonna get this internet out the way soon. Once he's accomplished his goal of pushing this word, for this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached throughout all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. That's what we're waiting on. All right, and this gospel has been pushed throughout the whole world. All right, once that said number of the 144,000 is fulfilled, to activate it, if you will, the Lord is going to allow this next phase of prophecy to ensue, and that's going to be the persecution. That's going to be all hell breaking loose. That's going to be Jacob's trouble. All right, we're living in those times. It says this is the ultimate goal of the WEF's Great Reset and Digital ID agenda, not safety, but control. It creates a system where participation in modern society is contingent on accepting a government-issued digital leash. And if you watch shows like Black Mirror, they have episodes like that where you have a social credit score. All right, the one I can't remember the damn name of it, but it was a great one. Damn, I forgot the episode, but basically it was an episode about this Edomite chick. And that you were dealing with a social credit score, and she was trying to get this certain social credit score to go to her friend's wedding and all that shit. But they was all like 4.3s or 4.4s or higher and shit like that. But she was like a 4.2 or something like that. But then a bunch of inconveniences happened, and her shit ended up tanking. And she didn't have access to certain things like plane tickets. She didn't have access to the newest of technologies and shit. She basically got declassified to demoted to a lower tier citizen. That's what they're trying to do, man. That's what they're trying to set up. All right, it's an interesting concept, but this is what they're trying to do. All right, it's a damn digital lease. It says it creates a system where participation in society is contingent on accepting a digital issue or a government issue digital leash. The threat of being banned or persecuted or prosecuted for undefined crimes will inevitably lead to self-censorship, silencing legitimate criticism and neutralizing opposition. Sanchez's second proposal to force open the black box of algorithms completes the picture. It's not about transparency for users, but about regulatory capture for the state. The goal is for governments to dictate what content is amplified and what is suppressed. See? All right. And this truth, they're going to suppress it. They don't want this truth going out. All right. I mean, they can't stop it. All right. And once they are able to suppress it, it's going to be time for that to happen anyway. All right. Nobody's moving outside of the Lord's program. It says shaping public opinion under the guise of managing the public conversation. This is not the path of a safer internet. It is the path to a sterile, state-managed internet where freedom is traded for the false promise of security. The globalist elite at the WEF are not solving the problems of the digital age. They are exploiting them to build an architecture of control. Whoever did this article, that was done beautifully. All right, they articulated that exactly how they're trying to do that shit. So let's get into this Psalms chapter 64, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. It says, "To the chief musician, a psalm of David, hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity." Who are these people? Are these elites, the hidden hand, the cabal, whatever you want to call them, the secret counsel of the wicked? All right, these elites, the WEF is definitely tied into that, man. All right, and see, just like on the right hand side, with the Lord has us coming out and he declares what he's going to do before he does it. They're doing it on the left hand side. All right, they're announcing what they're going to do at these WEF, at these Bilderberg groups. They pretty much announce what they want to do. That's why Aaron Russo, back in the 90s, had a conversation with Nick Rockefeller saying that they wanted to micro-CHIP everyone. And guess what? Now we're moving toward that. Verse 3, it says, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, right? They're getting ready to come up against Jacob ultimately, okay? Because this all boils down to Jacob and Esau. And now that Esau is being exposed, their hate for Jacob is just going to be amplified. That's why when it came out about, Captain Kirk's, hitter, right, being not a Muslim, not a so-called black or Hispanic, but a cis Edomite male that liked other men. All right, it fucks up their narrative. So they're gonna shoot at us still. All right, for whatever reason, they won't get mad at themselves. They're just gonna get mad at us. Because that hatred goes all the way back, man. Verse 4, it says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. The perfect represent the Israelites. And more importantly, it's going to represent the elect, because they're going to come in and try to deem us as, terrorists for preaching this word. That's literally what they're going to do. And the Lord has already put the spirit on our apostles and elders to prepare our minds for this. All right, we knew this was coming. We're not shaking in mind that Esau about to try to come after us. We know this devil is the devil. You can't expect the devil to do anything than what the devil is supposed to do, man. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of, and he's a liar. And that's what Esau is. And that's what they're going to do. All right, when their narrative falls apart, when they can't deceive anymore, they're going to come down with that sword. Revelation 12 and 12. They're going to come down with that great wrath, knowing that they have but a short time. They're going to keep pushing these unrighteous decrees. All right, but we're moving toward prophecy. We're moving toward a totalitarian system. We're moving toward Esau trying to set up his MWO. He's going to try to micro-CHIP, the world, all right, which is the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. All right, the Lord, this devil is doing what the Lord wants him to do, man. All right, that's why we don't fear. It says, verse 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep, right? They've sat up in these meetings, losing sleep, trying to figure out how they can set this shit up, man. All right, getting counsel from Satan. So they encourage themselves to do things like this. Here it is, they have all the power, all authority. They could just, they could end world hunger, they could boost everybody credit, and everything could be flourishing. But no, they about to oppress the world. And we're already seeing it. It says, they say, who shall see them, right? Who's going to be able to figure out what we're doing? All right, but hey, the prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we got the scope on your ass, man. In Amos, it says, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. So we know we're hip to what you're doing, Esau. Why? Because the Lord already gave us the blueprint of what you're going to do. Why? Because he wrote the script. Dumbass. All right. Verse 6 again, it says, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded, right? The Lord is going to mess up their plans, man. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Now, that's why you have different whistleblowers that come out and spoil, a major whistleblower in recent time was, I think his name Edward Snowden, which was like a CIA, agent or some shit like that. And he actually came out and exposed the fact that the government, has access to all your devices, your phones. They spy on their American people, man. All right, that's common knowledge now, but that was revolutionary back then. They didn't want people to know that. All right, so now that we're moving toward this digital, this fully digitized technocracy, all right, where everybody's tied to a digital wallet, anything you post and all that shit can be tracked back to you, and there's real life repercussions for what you speak. That's what we're moving to, So the Lord is making their own tongue fall upon themselves. Verse 9, and all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Lord, or of the Most High, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. The righteous shall be glad in the Lord and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. So, the elect, man, we rejoicing in this time. All right, do your worst, Esau. Let's get this. This is Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and the right grievousness which they have prescribed. Have they not just prescribed it? Have they not been trying to set up this digital ID, which is going to be, once again, intertwined with CBDCs and ultimately their ultimate goal is to put a micro C-hip in you, man. All right, the MOTB is the CHIP. All right, it's been that, it's going to be that, and we're seeing it. It says to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that the widows may be their prey, that they may rob the fatherless. We already in a fucked up position, but they about to come down even harder. They don't give a fuck. All right. And then and another thing they're going to be able to use to, get you people to comply. Once again, you're not going to be able to work. They're already pushing this with the digital ID in the UK. You're not going to be able to work. You're not going to be able to, buy things and shit like that, if you don't have this digital ID. So they're setting this up, man. All right, they absolutely are. And it's beautiful to see, man. We're not in fear. We're not. Esau already know where the hell we at. All right. And Esau can't do anything to us that the Lord does not allow. The Lord has not given us the spirit of fear. All right. But we also know the end goal, man. Esau, bro, you ain't going to be able to set this shit up. Check this out. And then we'll close it out. Job chapter 20 and verse 22, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. So, in the fullness of your sufficiency, and when you think you got it all, when you about to really do this, are you going to be in straits? Every hand of the wicked shall come upon you. Everything that you try to set up to come up against us, the Lord is going to snare you with it, man. Verse 23, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. All right, it says, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. So everything that you're going to try to get us with, the Lord is about to get you, man. Soon as you about to fill your belly, you about to, I'm about to see up everybody. I'm about to really set up this digital, I'm take over the world, with this digital ID, with these C-hips, controlling the money, controlling where these people live, controlling how much CO2 they can emit, controlling how many times these people can fly. And notice they're rolling this shit out in the UK first because they've already taken the guns away there. All right, once they take away the guns here and shit, then, you might be able to see some action. But these people are going to sit up and fight. That's why Second Ezra's, the 15th chapter is so powerful. Because they're going to rise up against each other with swords in their hands. The modern day sword is the gun. In the UK, they already banned firearms and shit like that. So, they're able to roll this out. And guess what? The government has guns, but the civilians don't. So now they gotta take it, man. All right, but that's coming here. It's still gonna come here, man. But they're setting it up over there. All right. So when he about to fill his belly, hey, the Lord gonna fuck you up, man. All right, and as soon as you try to put your hands on the prophets of Yahweh Shem Rashad, the Lord is gonna lift up that standard, man. We're in the time of spiritual power. All right, we're in the time of the Lord taking care of his men. All right, get ready to detach from this world, man. We already have been. All right, but get ready to fully just straight up walk away. Because that's what's about to happen. We're going to end up at a crossroads, and the Lord has been building our faith up for this moment. Are you going to be able to walk away from the complacency of life, so to speak? You get up, you go to work, bros have their little things. They like to play sports, play video games, or watch sports, play video games, different things. You got your little shorty or something like that. All right, but we're about to be in uncomfortable situations. But guess what? The world is about to be in a very uncomfortable situation. The Lord is still going to have us better than these people out here. We're going to be okay. All right, best believe that. We're going to be okay. The Lord is going to allow us to eat, all right, even without a job. He's going to allow us to, he's going to provide us shelter. The Lord knows what we need, man. Matthew, the 6th chapter, take no thought for your life. All right, seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Everything that the Lord knows that we want and desire, the Lord's going to, give it to us in time. He requires us to trust in him. And as of right now, the internet is still up, so we're going to continue to blow the trumpet until we can't no more. But the famine of hearing the words of Yahweh Shema Shai is coming, man. It's coming. You'd be a fool to think it's not. So Lord willing is edifying. Again, I'll read the article again. The digital gulag is being erected before your very eyes. I love that title, man. All right, so with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Makakadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well, peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Till next time, Shalom.